Ben Carson has been under assault, as you know, by the media over details and discrepancies in the way he tells his life story. I talked to him about that at the debate in Milwaukee. Ben Carson, welcome.
Thank you.
You've used words like garbage and lies and smear to describe the recent wave of stories about your past. Are you saying that organizations like Politico and CNN and the Wall Street Journal are deliberately trying to damage you?
Yes.
Why?
To put it simply, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Why?
Because, you know, when you deliberately lie and you put that out as a story, or you do shabby investigation and you say, we've investigated and we can't find anything. I mean, is that an acceptable standard? I mean, you're in the media. Is that acceptable?
Generally, journalists have to nail down a story before they publish it or broadcast it.
Right. So I don't have any problem with people looking at my past. I don't have any problem whatsoever with being vetted. But when people are outright dishonest, that's worrisome to me because, you know, the media, the press, is the only business protected by the Constitution. And there's a reason for that. And that trust has been granted them, and it should be earned.
So why do you think these and perhaps other organizations might have it in for you?
Well, that's something that probably you should investigate as a journalist and investigate it honestly and see why would they? What would be their motivation? Would it have anything to do with the fact that, you know, I'm doing well in the head-to-head with Hillary? Maybe that's their chosen candidate. I don't know.
You certainly get more scrutiny when you move up in the polls. You understand that?
Scrutiny is one thing.
Yes.
But blatant lies, that's another.
To the extent you've talked about the role of your co-author, that there have been any discrepancies or less than fully clear phrases that you've used, do you take some responsibility for that?
Well, of course. I mean, when you're talking about things that happened decades ago, you know, for instance, the number of the course at Yale, you know, the likelihood of me remembering the number of that course decades later is pretty small. And, you know, with ROTC, you know, the real story, if they were really interested, would be, how did this guy join ROTC late and make it all the way to the top? How does that happen? That's a great story. But no, they want to say, I think he might have got the date wrong here on when this occurred.
A couple of conservative commentators have described what's been happening to you, in their view, as a journalistic lynching. Do you think there is a racial aspect to it?
I hope not. I think they're just concerned about someone who may not be controllable by them and someone who doesn't go along with the progressive agenda, and particularly the secular progressive agenda.
So as a black conservative, you think you are perhaps being treated differently?
As I said, I hope it doesn't have anything to do with being black. I hope it, and it's too bad that it has anything to do with being conservative, quite frankly. You know, we live in a pluralistic society, and, you know, we have different points of view. Does that mean we have to try to demonize and destroy anybody with whom we disagree? Or should we be actually engaging in a conversation about the things about which we disagree? If you don't have a good argument, I can see why you would try to demonize the other person rather than engage in the argument.
You said you think the media attacks are helping you, but could they also be sowing the seeds of doubt?
Well, let's put it this way. If I had a choice of having media attacks and not having them, I would go with not having them. So
would most candidates. All right. Donald Trump picking up on a word in your book when you wrote about some of the violent incidents when you were a teenager, now says you have a pathological disease and he hopes you're all right. Your response?
Well, I said I had a pathological temper. Now, anybody who thinks that a pathological disease and a pathological temper are equivalent probably don't know what the term means.
But you have felt it important to write about this because you want to show the journey that your life has taken you, because a lot of candidates wouldn't be anxious to volunteer such information.
Well, you know, I believe in full disclosure. And, you know, if I hadn't revealed that, then that would be a story. Because then you guys say, do you know what this guy did? Oh, my God.
Go bring it up. And finally, you talk about the role of God in your life, helping to guide you, helping to guide your medical career, your decision to run for president. Do you think some in the media portray that as strange?
There are clearly those who feel that anybody who is a person of faith is archaic in their thinking.
Dr. Carson, thanks very much for joining us.
All right, pleasure.